Guys, what's going on? So today we're just going to do a pull workout. Actually, we're going to do some pulls. I'm going to start. I already warmed up. I did my warm up. So we'll do some scapula pull-ups just to warm up a little bit more. I'll do a few sets of body weight pull-ups. Then I'm going to get into some weighted pulls. I don't know how far I'll go with them. I'm going to start with I have a couple of 25-pound plates with my belt. So after my body weight sets, we'll go into some weighted sets with 25, and then maybe we'll bump it up to 50. We'll see how far we get. I'm going to do 2 sets of scapula pull-ups, and then I'm going to use my rubber band, and I'm going to do some high explosive pull-ups. I'll do 2 sets of those, then we'll get into the body weight, and then the weighted. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to rest about a minute and a half. We'll get into number 2, and then, like I said, I'll do a couple of sets of high pull, as high as I can get with the rubber band, and then we'll get into the body weight stuff. All right, we're done with those. So rest for a couple of minutes. So again, guys, we never do anything complicated, right? We stick to the basic stuff. Just pull-ups. So what we're going to do is do pull-ups. Different variations. Normally, you know, you're going to switch up your grip a little bit. Like I've mentioned before, in any exercise, your hand placement is always going to dictate exactly where you're going to hit the muscle, how much stress will be on a certain muscle. For instance, if we do a pull-up with an overhand, a pronated grip, come out a little wider, we're going to be hitting the lats. If we come in closer and go supinated this way, right, it's going to be, generally speaking, from a lot of people, that's going to be easier, only because you're getting a little more assistance now from your biceps, right? So hand placement is always going to dictate, so it's good to switch it up. For tonight, I'm just going to be going with the standard overhand grip. My last pull workout, I did include actually some close grip. I came in really close with a pronated, and I did a bunch of chin-ups, which is the supinated grip. All right, let me get my band set up, and we'll do 2 sets, like I said, of the high pull-ups. So the idea here, guys, is to we want to pull as quickly and as high as we can. We're just trying to build explosiveness with our pulls, and that'll help in things, if you're working on doing a muscle up or just body weight high pull-ups, always start with the band. I always think they're a good idea. I talk about them all the time, and I think they're a great tool. All right, guys, that's it. So actually, I said earlier I was going to, after that, go into some body weight pull-ups. I'm going to hold off on those. I'll do those after the weighted pull-ups, actually. So my next set, I'm going to rest a couple of minutes. My next set will be weighted pull-ups. And I'll start with the 25-pound plate, which is a little more than 11 kilos. All right, guys, we got the 25 pounds hooked up. It's, like I said, a little over 11 kilos. I'm looking to do 5 sets, reps, anywhere from 5 to maybe 7-ish, give or take. I don't know. I won't know until I really get on the bar. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, we managed 8 on that, actually. So we're going to go for 5 sets. So I normally rest with these at least 2. When I up the weight, maybe 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes per set in between. Again, it's a lot different animal strapping on the weight than it is just doing your body weight. So in between sets, I'll sip on my electrolyte drink. 3 main electrolytes: potassium, magnesium, and sodium. I just use normal pink salt. I order up in bulk the magnesium and the potassium. I mix it up in the exact ratios that you'll get in all these things that you're ordering online. These, everybody thinks it's a miracle drink. This Element, I forget the names of the other ones that I was looking at, but guys, they don't have magic salt. They don't have miracle salt. It's pink salt, it's magnesium, and it's potassium. And this is pennies, less than pennies on a dollar when you add it up. You squeeze some lemon in there, get about a quart of water. You throw your 3 salts in there, and you're good to go. You have your electrolytes. You're not going to break the bank, right? You're not throwing money down the toilet. But for all you guys who think that you're getting these flavored drinks and they say electrolyte drinks, you like the taste of them. A lot of people, well, I don't like the taste of the salt. And that's why they package them like that. That's why they flavor them up and they add sweeteners to them. Trust me, a little bit of lemon or a lot of lemon, however you like it, salt and about a quart of water, and you have your electrolyte drink. So yeah, guys, again, no sense in complicating things. Everything's been invented, guys. It's all here. Everything that you need to be healthy, to get yourself in shape, it's already here. You have access to it. So many people, they waste time and they're looking and they hope that they're going to find some miracle that's going to fix them, that's going to get them healthy, that's going to give them the physique that they want. And the only miracle there is hard, consistent work. And stop beating up your body, right? Because you can't, like I said, I say it all the time, your health is going to manifest from the inside out. So if you're pouring shit in your body, if you're smoking, if you're drinking, if you're vaping, getting high, if you're eating junk food all the time, which isn't even real food, your body's not made to subsist on that stuff. It's not. Your body's going to break down. I don't care how much exercise you think you're going to do to negate that. You will never do it. You can't do it. It's an impossibility, right? It has to be a combination of things. It's not to say you can't go out on a weekend and go to hell with yourself, but a constant diet of this shit, this constant abuse to your body, the lack of sleep, the stress, everything I just mentioned, the junk food, the booze, the getting high. You can't do it consistently. Your body is going to break down. It's going to break down. You know, and people say, well, you need balance. If you're overweight, diabetic, you have all these chronic health conditions, high blood pressure, heart disease, this, that, that's not balance. I'd contend that that scale is pretty skewed and not in your favor. So you better get you better get that scale calibrated. But everything's here, guys. It's here for you. You know, stop looking. You know, like I said before, it's like if, you know, when I was years ago, my daughter, when she was young, she always watched the Wizard of Oz. And what was the premise of the whole movie? She wanted to go home, right? And then they told her at the end, well, you could have gone home anytime you wanted, right? It's the same thing with your health. You can get healthy anytime you want. You just have to do it. You have the power to do it. Stop looking for other people. Stop looking for answers out there. Nobody has the answers but you. They might give you suggestions and ideas that you can implement, but you actually have to do it. All right, that was 5 sets of 8 with 25 pounds. We'll see. I'm going to take maybe a 3 or 4 minute rest, and then I'll strap on the 50 pounds, and we'll try and get a few sets with that. I'll see how that feels. So yeah, back to what I was saying, guys, complicating things. You have to stop. You know, your diet, what should I eat? And it paralyzes people. It paralyzes people when you tell them, most people are eating junk, you know, and when you tell, and they're addicted to it, they get that dopamine hit. It's makes them feel good. It's like any other addiction that you have. And, you know, you tell somebody something as simple as, you know, cut down on your eating window during the day. Instead of getting up first thing out of the bed, ramming something in your mouth, why don't you wait till noon, 11 a.m.? Cut your eating window. Even 8, 9 hours, give yourself to eat. You can get more than enough. More than enough food. Any human being can get more than enough food in that time. But they're gripped with fear. If you put any limitation on what they can eat and how they could eat, you know, tell them they have to stop drinking booze. And I was there. You know, I used to say to myself, how can you be happy? How can you go have a good time if you don't have booze? If you're not drinking, right? But you think of that warped mentality. How can I be having a good time if I'm not poisoning myself? Because alcohol it's a neurotoxin. Alcohol is an absolute poison to the body. And you tell them, you know, you shouldn't really drink, or you really got to curtail or cut down what you're drinking, they're gripped with fear. What? No, I could do it. You know, it's not going to bother me. It doesn't bother me. They'll make up every excuse. We justify our stupidity. And I'm guilty of that, just like everybody else is. You know, I was working with a good friend of mine, and who had a family member that was in the medical field. And I always suggest people take vitamin D supplement, because almost everybody, I can't say that, but a high percentage of people are deficient in vitamin D. Very high percentage. And I got I got pushback on that. Well, that's kind of too much vitamin D. That could be dangerous. Really? How many people do you know? I'm talking to you. If you're watching me right now, how many people in your life do you know dropped dead and the cause was too much vitamin D? And on the flip side, how many people drank themselves to death? How many people overdosed on drugs? How many people ate themselves to death? How many people died from heart disease, from a bullshit, stressed out lifestyle? but you'll get pushback when you tell somebody to take vitamin D, which is critical, which your body, you will die without it. It's something that's critical to you, but that's essential. You have to have it. And if you tell somebody to take it, you'll get pushback. Right? So make it make sense. All right, let me get hooked up here, guys. We're running out of daylight. I am anyway. I'm going to try a couple of sets with 50 pounds. Guys, I apologize on that one. Man, did I misjudge the daylight. It took me a little longer than I thought it was going to, and I thought we'd still have some daylight in the end. Turned out we didn't. But if you take my word for it, I did get in those last sets of weighted pulls with the 50 pounds. So the entire workout consisted of my warm-up, and then we went into 2 sets of scapula pull-ups, 2 sets of high pull-ups, and I used the resistance band, like a medium-sized resistance band on that. Then we went into 5 sets of 8 reps with 25 pounds on the belt. And then we did 5 sets of 5 reps with 50 pounds. And then I completed the workout with weighted pull-ups. I did a total of 30, and I did those in sets of 5. So that was the whole thing. Like we always say, guys, it's nothing complicated. Today was just straight pull-ups. We're working on our pull strength. Again, like I said earlier in the video, we have this tendency to always want to complicate things. And the answer is right in front of us. But you have to have the willingness to change. You can't look at yourself in the mirror and say, I don't want to look like this anymore, and then hope against hope that you're going to find a way to change without changing. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know, I look at in my case, you know, I made it up until my 40s, and I thought I was getting away with all my bullshit. And it just started crumbling down. Everything started coming down around me, and I knew if I don't change, nothing's going to change. And that's when I started to make the changes. You have to be willing to work. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to, you know, again, do your own research, because there's not, I can give you ideas. Other people can give you ideas. It doesn't mean they're going to work for you. You have to try it. You have to experiment on yourself. You have to know your body. I get questions all the time. How do you know when to rest? How many days do you take off? What's the best way to do this? What's the best way to eat? I can answer that for me because I've done it. I've tried. It's through trial and error, and you have to do your own trial and error. Again, there's always going to be, I say it time and time again, there's the basics, there's the fundamentals, and that's where you're always going to start. And you have to see what works for you. Well, when I do this exercise, I don't like the way it feels. Then don't do it. There's always an alternative. Well, when I eat this, I don't like the way I feel. I don't like the way it tastes. I don't like the way it makes my body feel. Don't eat it. There's always an alternative. Somebody's going to come along and say, no, 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 you have to eat that because that's the best thing in the world to eat. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. What works for me may not work for you, but there's always the basics, and that's where you have to start. Stop complicating things. Sorry we ran out of daylight, but again, you'll have to take my word that I did finish the workout. I'll put it down in the description, the entire set that I did. And thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.